What's good, YouTube? It's the One Outcast with a first video that isn't a clip compilation. And I'm going to be talking about the Rivals 2 beta that happened last week. And I just want to give my thoughts and my experiences with the entire thing, good or bad, and my thoughts going into the future and what I hope for. And let's get into it. Okay, to go on with the good with the Rivals 2 closed beta. I've never felt this good playing a plat fighter. The only other experiences I had with that feeling is playing Rivals 1 during 2020. And yes, the movement feels more stiff than Rivals 1, but Rivals 1, Aethys Studios had like 7 years at least, or 7 years or more to like fix up the movement and how that felt, and I'm not tripping over that. For what I got and what I expected, I blown away with how the movement felt and getting off platforms felt, because that is like my biggest gripe with a lot of plat fighters. It's either they mess up how to get off like platforms, or the platforms just feel sticky. And Rivals 2, I had zero issue with that, honestly, and felt good. And another bullet point I had was certain tech like shield dropping. Dude, it's super easy. It is super easy in Rivals 2. You just hold 2 shield buttons and you just press down. It's an instant shield drop. That's if you have 2 shield buttons to work with. And another bullet point I have is that there is zero L canceling. We have hit falling, which pretty much does the same thing. And for those that actively like L canceling, you leave the toilet seat up, you pour the milk before the cereal, and you eat Kit Kat bars sideways, and you don't even break the damn thing. You just eat it. You just eat it whole. You just eat it whole, man. And hit falling, to elaborate on that, it's just you do an aerial and you just press down instantaneously, and you just have reduced landing lag. To like put it simply, it's basically the same thing as L canceling. And another bullet point I have is all the characters that I played as, Crag, Claire, and Rano, they all felt nice to play as. They all felt fun to me, even though with Claire you kind of have to work harder from what I can tell and from what I'm seeing from my opponent. And like each character felt unique to me. And another point I have is special pummel and ledge get up and special get up attacks. Pretty neat. Honestly, it's one of the new mechanics that they have added to Rivals 2, and I am here for it because it adds just another layer to gameplay that's kind of needed. Because they removed some things that I'm gonna get into later. And the online, how I felt about it, I mean, it's a 1 of 5 test that we can do, that the public can do if you backed it. And at least for me, my experience, I could at least play everybody from the west side, Midwest, and some people from the south. Like, the connection felt crisp, smoothest connection I've had with those areas, or in those servers as well. Because in Rivals 1, it was just peer-to-peer, and you would have to rely on an opponent having a decent enough connection to where neither of you are getting screwed over. However, with what Rivals 2 does is they have server-based connection, which means if there's any point of lag, you're not experiencing lag, but your opponent is, it's on the opponent for having a terrible connection to the server. It is not your fault. in that regard, unless you're the one connecting to the server, and like the ping is all out of whack. Honestly, I am a fan of, because now it's not a me problem. And yeah, that's about all I have for the good. And now in what I have down as the needs work or can be improved or is just kind of bad from my experience in my time playing the Rivals 2 closed beta, is there's some mechanics from Rivals 1 that was removed when making the jump to Rivals 2. I'm gonna like really go over one of them, and that being Drift DI. After playing for 3 days straight, like I said, we need that in some capacity. It's either we need Drift DI back, or we gotta change the values of, like, the knockback values, the hit stun values, or the weight of basically the entire cast. I think adding Drift DI back is the easier solution than doing and like just changing the values of every character and retesting everything, honestly. Because what Drift DI essentially is like during hit stun, you have another set of DI that you can do, and you can just drift out completely, and then potentially just get out of the combo, and like your opponent just hyperextends, they miss, basically. And most people, they're just gonna drift out, drift DI out and up, basically. And yeah, no, like it's either add that back in or just redo the entire cast. And the other mechanic off the top of my head that they removed was plat boosting. And essentially what it is like right when you're on a platform and then you press down and then jump at the same time, you get another angle to go for edge guards or extending a combo, basically. So it was pretty sick, at least to my knowledge. And yeah, another bullet point that I have is that some wave dashes just felt like garbage to use. Like Krag's was pretty bad. The only reason I had to use Krag wave dash was to just space out my down special, which is the three spikes that spawn in front of him. And another wave dash that felt awful was Maple. Like, she just goes nowhere with that. Honestly, the only two wave dashes to my knowledge that wasn't like complete garbage was Zetterburn, to my knowledge. And like maybe Ras is okay. Who knows? But yeah, and another thing that should be improved on is shields. I think shield grabbing is way too strong for what it is. And then also shield breaks aren't rewarding. And for that reason, shielding is stronger than I thought it would be. I think honestly this one's probably the easiest fix, like between everything I'm talking about right now. Cause like the solution is kind of simple. It's really just either keep the same shield health that we have right now, but you just make shield breaks more rewarding, a more rewarding punish, basically. Because after shield break, you don't really get anything out of it. Like, the only notable thing I can think of from my experience was when I was in a tournament, I got a shield break on somebody. I only had enough time to get a smash attack because they were at high percent. Honestly, it's either make shield breaks more rewarding, or just decrease the health of shields so shield breaks can happen more often. Now, yeah, that's gonna end that section of this video. Now I'm gonna go over my my thoughts swirling around Rivals 2 and the future I honestly have optimism for Rivals 2. One of those being, like, the bullet point I have is I had endless people to fight despite the handicap of not being able to fight as many East Coast players as I would like to test it out with. However, I was able to fight pretty much anybody on the West Coast, Midwest, and some of the people from the South, which honestly, that's super good. Like, considering where Rivals 1 was at with its online. Now, for what I think like could be a big help is, like, really just make the central servers like some of the best servers in the next build or in the game's full release, because honestly, pretty sure most East Coasters, West Coasters, like, that are gonna fight each other would want to do it on a neutral server. So you might as well make the neutral server the best server there is. So that's kind of my pitch to try and fix that, honestly. And it's only up from here because it was still a good experience with the online for me. Another thing that I really want to touch upon as well is, honestly, I'm not too worried about the balancing for Rivals 2, because this is like Rivals 2 with all the unbalanced stuff that they had is eons ahead of whatever Rivals 1 early access was. That thing was a unbalanced mess. And you want to talk about character select screens that look like trash and menus that look like trash? Just look at the early access build with Rivals 1. Like, dude, it is crazy to look at from where they came from to now. And really, it's amazing. It's truly, truly amazing. And if that's like people's first impression of Rivals 1 was that early access build, genuinely, I don't fault people for not wanting to get into Rivals at all. Genuinely. And then, like, really liking the look of Rivals 2. And then I think at some point I would probably make a video about all the things on Rivals 1 early access and, like, what that looked like. Because, my goodness, dude, a lot of unbalanced things in there. My biggest takeaway, though, from this entire weekend was I had endless amount of people to fight. And also, that's going to extend the tournaments if devs keep this upward momentum that Rivals 2 has right now with this dope foundation that they have going on right now. And the further proof in that pudding was that weekend there was multiple tournaments, and in those tournaments the storyline was like, it was basically PM players or Project Plus players versus the Rivals 1 or Rivals of Aether community, basically. That's interesting to me. I would care to see that. I would care to see that live. I don't know about you, but I would want to see that live. I'm not interested in seeing in Rivals 1 how stale it was. Like, I'm not interested in seeing the same faces fighting off. I'm not interested in seeing the same top 10 for, like, the Rivals Championship Series top 50 North America list. I'm not interested in seeing the same faces in bracket, in top 50, and then the same top 3 players go at it. Like, it's so boring to watch to me. It's so played out. It's like missionary position every single night. It's boring, it's stale. The reason it's like that too is because, like, really, nobody has 100 hours lying around to, like, even get even a quarter good as these players. And people feel hopeless trying to move, and then they just get bodied for it. Like, that's no fun. Rivals 2 gives people that chance, that sliver of a fighting chance at that. Cause it's more, the barrier to entry is so low compared to what it was. Like, the barrier to entry for Rivals 2 is way lower than it was for Rivals 1. And for that reason, there was more likely chance for just an up-and-comer out of nowhere just swooping in and then cleaning house. That would be sick to see, and I would want to see that live in tournaments. Online, offline, doesn't matter. Like, that's interesting to me. And with people not wanting to get into Rivals, we get stupid low entrants. Like, for regionals, even for majors. Like, the numbers for majors is, like, it's kind of sad to see, honestly. Seeing like at Genesis 10, like 223 entrants for Rivals 1, and then like seeing the Rivals 2 bracket getting capped out. Come on, man. Like, dude, no wonder Rivals 2 got the top 6 treatment, and then Rivals 1 had to stick to being top 8 on the Saturday. Like, dude, no one's invested in Rivals 1 anymore. Everybody's tapped out. I was tapped out near the end. Like, honestly, if there was a Rivals Championship Series Season 9 and Rivals 2 was nowhere near the horizon, I would have just hung it up, man. Honestly, I would have just quit. Cause, like, it was frustrating, like, in the end, for me. Cause I only went to 3 offline Rivals events. Being Major Upset, being Crust 2, and then Genesis 10. And I only went to those 2, the Major Upset and Crust 2, because I wanted the least likelihood of Rivals getting shafted. Getting the hey, you don't get a top 8 and you have to start early. Major Upset, we were promised a top 12 and a noon start, basically, which was awesome. And that didn't end up happening. Well, the top 12, we at least got a top 8. We got a top 8. That's the nicest treatment we got in getting shafted. It has been worse for tournaments, man. And then Crest 2, it was awesome. Honestly, one of the best times I had playing in bracket. Like, genuinely. But the only downside to that was there was only like 29 entrants. Which, damn, I wish more people knew how sick this game was and was into this game. Like I am. And Genesis 10 is Genesis. Like, it's gonna be big no matter what. But still, that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt seeing. And these are like the nice times at tournaments. The only two big majors I can think of that really make Rivals feel like a main event is Riptide. Shoutouts to them for that. Even though they did lowball us once, but their lowball was still us still being treated like a main event. Still, even then, where they dropped the ball, but still, like it was awesome from what I hear. And Heatwave. Shoutouts to Arizona scene for even having a scene. First of all, second of all, having a major and it being really like a community. Feeling like a community where Rivals finally feels like a main event. And this is not a knock to other scenes that I see. Like, they are doing their thing, but like, dude, it just sucks that the numbers don't reflect that at all. But like, shoutouts to MDVA for starting up Hitfall. Shoutouts to them. Because now it's like really considered a big regional for Rivals. And Shoutouts to Florida for keeping it going, holding it down for Goaty. Gamers on the Edge. Shoutouts to Louisiana, honestly. They've been doing their thing for the longest. And then shoutouts to Oregon. Shoutouts to Jarek for hosting Crest, bringing back Crest. Like, honestly, one of the best times I had in an offline tournament in my life. And now that I really got that off my chest, like, I'd want to thank the entirety of Aether Studios for Rivals 1. Because, honestly, without this game, I wouldn't have made the lifelong connections I have now with the people that are like my closest friends to me. And for that, I'm grateful. And yeah, that's gonna really cap off this video. I want to end it on a high note, honestly, because yeah, we need more of that in the world. Where you can find me, I mean, I'm now gonna start uploading as much as I can with ideas that I got swirling around. And you can also follow my Twitch. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and now Mondays. Follow my Twitter to know when I go live. I'm gonna start being good about that. And again, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I also multi-stream. I stream here on YouTube. And best part about me streaming on YouTube, 0 ads. Hey, get it uninterrupted. Get the VIP treatment. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace. New whip, crew